Hostile UAV spotted.
Shut out.
Be advised. Hostile HCXD spotted.
What's going on, guys? This is Prodigy, and after that death right there, I just had to step away from multiplayer for a minute because, I mean, that death was ridiculous. I have no words to explain that one right there, but that's why you guys see me uploading some zombies content on the channel right here. This is the map Der Eisendrache of the Awakening DLC, and it's actually a lot of fun. I'm a new zombies player myself, and I'm having a lot of fun with this map right here. You know, so if you haven't tried it, I definitely would recommend you try it out. It's a lot of fun, But another reason I'm uploading this gameplay is because it kind of leads into the topic that I want to talk to you guys about today, and that is DLC content and whether or not it's good or bad for the gaming community. And so obviously, before I really get into anything, I want to give a special thank you to Thunder for even uploading this video and allowing me to talk to you guys in the first place. Obviously, that means a lot to me, and I'm very appreciative of it, so thank you, Thunder. You're the real MVP. But let's get to the topic, guys. So DLC content, and when I say DLC, I mean, you know, anything extra that wasn't in the game at launch. So DLC, you know, season passes, expansion packs, anything of that nature, I'm clumping it all into that category. So, you know, we're not new to DLC. You know, DLC has been something that's been going on for years and years and years now. And pretty much every game that comes out now has a season pass or expansions coming out and things of that nature. So, I mean, we're used to it by now. And it's pretty much commonplace. And if a game doesn't have a DLC, it's like, oh my God, it doesn't have a season pass? What's going on here? But, yeah, so, I mean, it's definitely nothing new. And my question to you guys is, do you guys even think that DLC is something that is good or beneficial to the gaming community? Now, the reason why I ask this is because a lot of people argue that DLC offers a new experience. You know, it's new content, obviously, and it offers a new dimension to the game that people experience, and it's fun to enjoy and play new content that you haven't enjoyed before. And I can totally understand that argument, you know, because I myself, if there's a game that I enjoy and that I like, and they add a new aspect to that game, or a new map, or a new storyline, or you know, a new weapon or something like that, you know, of course I'm going to want to, you know, see that for myself. I'm going to want to try it out. I'm going to want to play it because I like the game. So I can totally understand that argument right there. But however, on the flip side of that, there's the aspect or the argument that developers take away from the original game just to include certain content in a DLC or in an expansion later on down the line. And when you think about it from that aspect, that really kind of makes it kind of sketchy and kind of wrong, in my opinion, to take away from the original idea of the game in order just to make more money off of it later on down the line. A prime example of this concept, so you guys could get a better idea of what I'm talking about, would be Destiny. You know, Destiny, before it came out, it had a lot of people hyped up. You know, people were really looking forward to it. It was a new concept. It was cool, and myself included. And I actually did end up buying Destiny, but I stopped playing for, you know, a bunch of reasons. But you guys might be able to get an idea. So Destiny came out, and it really didn't deliver the way people wanted it to. You know, it was really lacking in certain areas, particularly in the storyline. A lot of people felt the story was too short and that it really didn't offer enough. And so later on, Destiny comes out with the expansions, you know, the Dark Below, House of Wolves, and later on the Taken King. You know, it adds new elements to the storyline, and it adds new elements to the online experience as well. But even after the expansions, the game still felt incomplete. And so it's found out that these same storylines that were in these expansion packs were designed to be in the original game, but they were removed just so that they could put them in these expansion packs and sell them to you guys. And that pissed a lot of people off because they're like, you're taking away from the original game just to be able to make more money off of it in the future. So it's like we're paying you twice as much as we paid for the original game just to get what we would have gotten in the first place for regular price. And that to me just seems unethical and wrong. And part of the reason why I stopped playing Destiny, because I haven't bought any of the expansions for Destiny. And so when I went on to play one day, I think it was after the Taken King came out, I was going to play on the Crucible because that's pretty much all I did on Destiny. And I couldn't play any of the other game modes that I usually played. It was just 2 playlists for people who didn't own the DLC. And I thought that was extremely wrong because you're basically locking out people from certain content that they had access to before just because they didn't buy the DLC. So that turned me off from Destiny, and that's part of the reason why I feel a certain way about DLC in general, because it's a growing trend in the gaming community of developers taking away from a game just to add it into a DLC later. I just think that's wrong because when DLC was first introduced, it was cool. It was no big deal. It was just extra stuff you can buy, but it wasn't taking away from anything, and not even every game had it. Like I said before, now it's pretty much standard and every game has it. But back then, it was just an extra. It was an add-on in the true meaning of the word, and it wasn't necessary. It still isn't necessary, technically, I understand, but it didn't take away, like I said before. Now, I understand that DLC makes money and businesses want to make as much money as possible. After all, they are a business. That's what their purpose is. And if they didn't make money, they wouldn't be there in the first place. I understand that. But something does have to change. Take Grand Theft Auto 5, for example. Now, Grand Theft Auto 5 constantly comes out with new updates, new content, fresh new stuff for their players, and it does it for free. Like, there's so much stuff to do in Grand Theft Auto Online, and they're continually adding more. So, the game doesn't get boring because there's always new stuff being added. But as well as that, they also have the option to buy shark cards, which is basically cash for the online section of the game. And you could pay extra money for that. So it's like a microtransaction. So they have free updates, but they also have microtransactions as an extra bonus for you to buy if they want to, which they can also make money off of. And I think that's a fair balance to have if you're a game company, to have, free updates, but to also have microtransactions on the side that people have the option to buy or not buy and still have the same enjoyable experience online that they would if they bought some extra stuff or they didn't. I think all games should be like that and follow Grand Theft Auto's example. And I think DLC should be limited to like microtransactions as long as whatever you're buying is cosmetic or a reskin of something and it doesn't give you an unfair advantage in the game. I remember in Black Ops 2 and Advanced Warfare, they had the option for you to actually buy camos individually for like $2, I think it was. And I remember buying a couple actually because I thought they looked cool, and it's a cool looking camo, so I have no problem, paying $2 or whatever and slapping it on my gun because it looks cool and I like it, and it doesn't give me an unfair advantage over anybody, so I have no problem with that, and the company still makes money, so it's a win-win for the consumer and the company. But DLC in its current state, slapping stuff in supply drops and making people buy COD points or whatever, or taking away stuff from the original game design and throwing it in a season pass for later on down the line just to make more money, I think is wrong and needs to change. And I think that extra DLC content should be limited to microtransactions and should not give you an unfair advantage over people in games. And that's just my opinion. So you guys can tell me what you think about this whole thing. Be sure to drop a comment. I'd be interested to see what you guys have to say about this particular subject. But that's going to be all for this video, guys. Please don't forget to drop a like on the video. And if you've enjoyed it, please feel free to come check out my channel. I really appreciate that from you guys. It means a lot to me. But that's about going to wrap it up, guys. Once again, this is Prodigy. Thanks for listening.